Hi and welcome back to another video. Today I thought we could do my July reading wrap up. I honestly thought I would have like 3 books to talk about this month because I do not remember reading as many books as I actually have. I think because 6 of the books I binged in a day, we'll explain that later. Then 3 of them have been audiobooks and 4 of them I read either physically or on my Kobo. So I'm not gonna do this totally in order because I think there are certain ways to make this easier, and also because I can't really talk too much about every book because there are books in this series. So we'll start with the standard, the books that are always in my wrap up. I read 3 Harry Potter books this month. I read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Goblet of Fire. I love listening to Harry Potter books. As we all know by now, it's my way of falling asleep, and I rarely read this physically. I do own them in different sets, all bought on like Vinted. At least this series. I love collecting Harry Potter books, but I don't want to buy them firsthand because I don't want to give J.K. Rowling more money. So I try to buy all of the things secondhand. And I feel like everyone knows the plot of Harry Potter, but I could talk a little bit about like the books, these 3 books, what I love about them. I feel like I rarely reread Chamber of Secrets, which might be a lie, but compared to the others, I like it. I just don't find it that interesting. I feel like a part of the Harry Potter books is that there's a lot of build-up. And then in the end, everything comes crashing down, and sometimes that could feel a little bit slow on my part, especially in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I just feel like there's so much build-up, and then everything just happens in like the last 3 chapters. So I like it, but I think it's like my least favorite Harry Potter book, unfortunately. Then we have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is my favorite movie, not my favorite book, but I just love the like found family that happens in this book, and I hate to see what happens in the end of it. I feel like it's yet again a case of a lot of build up and then everything happens in the last few chapters. But I love getting introduced to Remus and Sirius. They are one of my absolute favorite characters. I have the moon a little bit because of Remus. I just ken him very hard and I love him so much. So I always find it so nice to reread this book because it's one of my favorite books, but my favorite film, and I have so many comfort characters, and I feel like this book is just the epitome of still being at Hogwarts, but a lot of like darker stuff start happening. So you have the Hogwarts magic as well as them kind of starting to grow up. Then lastly, a chunk of a book, and this is Goblet of Fire. I think that this is my favorite book, either this one or Order of Phoenix. However, I feel like this one as well is still Hogwarts magic combined with darker stuff happening. I love getting to see the Beauxbatons and Victor Crumb and all of them. So I really like the setup of this. This is so butchered, this book. And everything surrounding it. So truly love this one and everything that happens in it. Like the Triwizard Tournament is just so funny. Like not funny, like based on what happens, but I love the concept of it and kind of the mysterious things going on and all of the secrets that are being kept in this book. There's a specific scene in this one as well, yet again at the end, that I find so funny, especially like in the movies. I feel like everyone has seen the movies. If not, too bad for you, I'm gonna spoil. Because when it is revealed that Mad-Eye Moody is in fact not Mad-Eye Moody, it's Barty Crouch using Polyjuice potion, and Albus Dumbledore says, "Now you know who's been stealing from your storage, Severus." And Harry and Severus just turns and looks at each other.
That's moody, but then who's...
Polyjuice potion. Now we know who's been stealing from your store, Severus.
That is such a funny scene, and I love that part every single time. Then we're coming to the 6 books, arriving at the 6 books that I read this month. And this is the entire Heartstopper series. For the people who don't know what Heartstopper is, it's a graphic novel series that follows Nick and Charlie and them trying to like figure out their sexuality and going through a lot of trauma and just following these two. And oh my god, can I stop saying it? I feel like the premise of the first book, because I think I can't really talk about the others without spoiling, is that this is Charlie. He has come out as gay, and not really by choice. He was kind of outed and has been met by a lot of bullying because they go to an all-boys school. Because of that, and he's still trying to like handle all the trauma and all of the conflict that has happened since then. And then we have Nick, and he's a straight boy, and he gets sat beside Charlie in recess, I think. So they start being friends, and somewhere along the way, it kind of blooms into something more, and that gets Nick to kind of doubt his own feelings, his own sexuality, and you can follow that. And I just think this is such a heartwarming series, and I could not recommend this more to people. I have yet to see the new Heartstopper movie. This series is impeccable. So I reread all of the first 5 books, and then I finally read the final installment in Heartstopper. This was released in the beginning of July, and I have been waiting so long for this one. I just love how it talks about mental health and your sexuality and the way you identify yourself, everything surrounding that. And I think that every young person should read this, because like even if you're straight, like it doesn't matter. Having that perspective and having the insight that this book gives you, I feel like it just makes you a more open person and see the kind of perspectives that you maybe otherwise wouldn't see. And this book is just perfect for young adults, like a little bit older young adults, I would say. But it's just so heartwarming, and I love every single one. I loved rereading them. It was such a long time ago that I read them for the first time. I think it was in the beginning of 2020 maybe, so it's been 6 years since I read the first one. I did read them before the series got released, and I was so happy when the series released. So just love it and the entirety of the series. Then we have the last 4 books, and the book I read after Heartstopper was King of Gluttony, a totally different book compared to Heartstopper. And we're basically following Maya and Sebastian that have been childhood rivals their entire lives. They went to the same school, they went to the same stuff, all of it, and they always competed. Both are very ambitious, very competitive, and always kind of used to being the best, you know. So we're following those two, and when both of their families kind of have like food companies, and during a family dinner with those two, because their parents are best friends, the parents reveal that they're doing a collaboration with kind of like a frozen food project, and Maya and Sebastian has to collaborate on this project, work really closely together, and they see it yet again for another time to compete with each other, and a lot of truths get out, and they realize that they maybe have misunderstood the dynamic they have, or kind of their feelings for each other. There is also a mystery plot compared to I feel like it's not always in Ana Huang's books, but sometimes there's a mystery subplot in this book, and I love it so much. I do love a mystery, and it's never really the one you suspect in Ana Huang's books, and I love that. After that, I read Entice by Ava Harrison. I think I got this recommended on my like Instagram Reels for You page, and I love that. So, and I want to start off by saying this is not everyone's cup of tea. This is an age gap romance with father's best friend. Not for everyone. I totally get that. If you know that age gap or anything similar to that is not your thing, don't read it. It will not be for you. However, we have Grayson, and then, ooh, what's her name? I don't really remember. We have the female main character. This is so standard me. I always forget the names, and I have not written it down in my notes. I think, no, I've only written it down as a young girl. But we have 8 years after Grayson kind of helped this young girl through something, a difficult moment. They meet again as adults. Grayson had a falling out with the girl's dad, and then suddenly he decides to help the girl's dad company-wise, like started to work together, collaborate. And then they were gonna have a family dinner, not a family dinner, but like a work dinner. And then the girl comes before everyone else, and he does not recognize her. So they kind of start flirting, and then her dad arrives, and he realizes, oh my god, this is my best friend's daughter. So they kind of have this chemistry, and it's very like push and pull, like we're very oh my god, why can I not talk? They're feeling the chemistry, both of them, and they're kind of getting into forced proximity a lot of the time, and they're trying to be like, we shouldn't do this, but we wanna. And it's very much push and pull. So it's forbidden romance, age gap, and dad's best friend. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I really enjoyed it. Then I read The Deal by L. Kennedy, and I feel like everyone has been talking about this. I do not know why I haven't read it yet. I think it got popular in like 2021, I think, and like per usual, I did not read it. I was like, it's too popular. I don't know why I'm like this. Like, could I just stop? Like, I'm giving myself the ick. I didn't read it at the time. I've heard so much about it and heard how obsessed people are with it. So we have Hannah, the main female character, and she's crushing on this other guy. But she's not really she doesn't really have the confidence to get his attention. And for you guys who've seen the series versus the book, it's kind of different people. Like, I saw this series first, and that made me want to read the book. And in the series, it's this musical dude, whereas in the book, it's another athlete. So we have Hannah, who's crushing on this athlete. And she doesn't really know how she's supposed to handle this, how she's supposed to get his attention. And then we have Garrett, and he failed his philosophy midterm, and that led to him seeing that Hannah aced it. And this starts kind of this deal where Hannah will be his tutor, and Garrett will be her tutor for getting this boy's attention. So they kind of start this fake relationship, and they start spending a lot of time together, and we all know where this leads to. And then finally, I read Queen of Shadows, or a reread. I've read it before. I love this book so much. So much happens in this book, and it kind of feels a little bit like an end to the first story in this universe, kind of. But I love it so much. I binged this book. I'm buddy reading it with my friend Moa right now, or like the entirety of Sarah J. Maas' universe. And I could not stop reading this one. I just feel like everything happens for a reason, and knowing the things that happens in the Tandem Read and Kingdom of Ash, the last 3 books, just, you understand so much more. Like in all of the books, there is so much stuff that are being hinted, but if you don't have the knowledge, you won't see it. So it's so fun to reread this book, and it's the 5th one in the Throne of Glass series. I could not recommend this series more. I feel like it's one of the best and most hooking series that I've ever read. You just can't stop reading the books, and I would thoroughly recommend reading Throne of Glass first, not Assassin's Blade. I will die on this hill. Truly, I will die on this hill. I recommend reading first Throne of Glass, then Crown of Midnight, and then the Assassin's Blade. I don't care in what order you read the Assassin's Blade as long as it's not the first, honestly. Don't read it first. So, in summary, I think it was a good month. I had a lot of good reads, but I also did not remember reading like any of them. There's also a butterfly in our house that we've not managed to get out. I'm so sorry if you can hear that in the background. But, so I think it was a good, like, book month, but I don't feel like it was that memorable. Like, there were good books, there were a good time, but there were none of them that really stuck with me, so I'm a little bit sad about that. However, I'm reading a book right now that I'm loving. So hopefully I'll have a better reading month in August and have a lot of books to talk about then as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.